Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Ant-Man. And this movie came out in 2015, directed by Peyton Reed, who directed all three of these movies. And I was never particularly a huge fan of this one. When I first watched it, I was like, yeah, it was kind of funny, but I didn't really take away much from it. And rewatching it, I was like, yep, it was pretty much how I remembered it. Didn't really take away much. And in ways, I feel both the same and completely differently with my thoughts on this to Age of Ultron. Whereas that movie is kind of interesting in the sense that, like, yeah, it's a mixed bag, but it's a kind of a mess, but there's a lot to talk about, and it's not boring because there's always something to take note of. And you can analyze why something works and why something doesn't work. Like, it has that at least. Whereas this movie just doesn't really have much of anything. It was very much scaled back and just focusing on just one character, Ant-Man, just introducing him into this world. And for that, it wasn't terrible. I do find the first 30 to 40 minutes of this movie to be pretty dull because there's like no action whatsoever. And it's all pretty much leading up to a heist, which could be kind of fun, but unfortunately, the characters in this movie are pretty weak. The only times I find this movie to be entertaining is when we get action scenes or when Michael Douglas is on screen. He has a good screen presence, I felt, and that's present in this movie. And while watching this movie, I was reminded a little bit of Batman Beyond, the animated series. I haven't watched the entire thing, but from what I remember, in terms of how it was set up in the first couple of episodes, it's pretty similar. Like taking a younger guy to take on this big role, like in that someone else is playing Batman and Bruce Wayne is training them how to be Batman. And in this movie, we have someone else taking over the role as Ant-Man, and he's Michael Douglas is just training Paul Rudd to learn how to be Ant-Man. Once we get to the training montage, that's when it gets interesting for me. I do like the cast in this movie. I don't feel as though anyone's particularly poorly cast in this film for the most part when it comes to the adult actors. The child actor I wasn't big on. I didn't feel as though her performance was great, but I do like Paul Rudd in this movie. I think he works fine and is entertaining at times. I find his character to be kind of boring and forgettable, but it was never his performance that was dragging his character down, in my opinion at least. And I did like when we got the one song that was used in Jackie Brown and the heist in Jackie Brown. That's also used a couple times in this movie, and I was like, oh, okay. That's something a bit different at least, and it was memorable. I thought the visual effects in this movie looked great. There wasn't anything that looked particularly bad to me, and that's about all of my positives that I have for this movie. I felt as though the dialogue was pretty weak in this film. I didn't really believe any character was anything more than just a character written for the screen and not like a real person, which I would kind of prefer. But anyways, there's some weak dialogue that I just can't get past, and the first 40 minutes were pretty rough, and there's basically no action to really keep me entertained. And I was just waiting for something to happen, and for the longest time, nothing happened, and it was really boring. The comedy in this movie fell flat for me a lot of the time, which it's not necessarily something that I'm really big on in these movies, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The villain of this movie, forgettable. I barely remember him. The only reason why I kind of remember him is because he shows up in a later movie, and I'm not going to spoil which one, but in a lot of ways, he's a bit more memorable in that movie than in this movie, and not in a good way. And that's about all I have to say about Ant-Man. There isn't really much to talk about. The action scenes were kind of fun at times, but I don't really have much to say. It was kind of forgettable. Didn't really take away much from it, and it kind of just felt like a huge missed opportunity. And I know that originally Edgar Wright was going to direct this movie, but unfortunately that fell through because of creative differences between him and the producers, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's the version of this movie I would much rather see. But this wasn't a terrible movie. If you want to watch it, it's not the biggest waste of time ever. It's just not something that I would probably ever rewatch. So check this one out if you want. If you like Ant-Man movies, then I think you'll get something out of it, maybe. I don't know. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Ant-Man from 2015 a 5 out of 10. Same rating that I gave Avengers Age of Ultron, but very different experience. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Ant-Man, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.